All right, so here we go. Cheers. Hey guys, I'm Amy.
And I'm Brooklyn.
And this is
A Court of You and Me.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A podcast dedicated to
our first episode of a podcast, obviously.
Episode numero uno.
Dedicated
to SJM universe
mm-hmm.
and beyond.
And beyond.
We are here.
And SJM, if you don't know,
mm-hmm.
and if you don't know, I feel so sorry for you. But also, welcome to a whole new world. A whole new life. Is Sarah J. Maas.
Sarah J. Maas.
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Round of applause. Round of applause for Sarah J. Maas. Standing ovation. All the things. Okay, who is Sarah J. Maas?
Sarah J. Maas is the author of the extremely successful Throne of Glass
book series,
ACOTAR, which is A Court of Thorn and Roses, and then Crescent City.
Yeah, and she writes for the girlies.
Yeah.
And the guys. There are dudes out there. I will say.
Yeah, I've seen them on TikTok.
Yeah. And I have posted like 2 things in my stories, and I have had guys talk like.
Great.
I had one guy who was like, "What is this? I've never heard of it." Mm-hmm. And then I had another guy that was like, "I'm on Assassin's Blade."
Amazing.
And I was like, "You're awesome," and that tells me a lot about who you are as men.
Yes.
And so we talk about the girlies a lot because we are girlies, but we are always welcoming the guys.
We're not discounting the men.
We're always here for the guys.
But
too.
these are very clearly like they are geared toward the female gaze, the traditional female gaze.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's just talk about like why we're doing this, why we're here, looking like this, talking about this.
What do you mean?
I mean, we always look like this, but why we're showing our truest selves?
Yeah, our truest selves. Exactly.
Yeah. And then how it came to be. So
right.
At Christmas, this all started for me at Christmas. Cousin Morgan, shout out Cousin Morgan, handed me a pile of books that I had heard of and had like thought about reading. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to read those someday. And she's like, oh, I have them and I'm going to give them to you. And then I had to buy a new bag to fly back to Kansas City. I mean,
were these all Cousin Morgan's books?
Not these ones. I got these all at Target. But
but ACOTAR?
ACOTAR were Cousin Morgan's books.
Okay. Is she like part of the first, like was she on board early on?
I think she was because she had the OG covers for ACOTAR.
Yeah.
So I think she was like into it early.
Okay.
But yeah, so she gave me ACOTAR.
Which like salute and salutations to all the like early adapters. Yeah,
we're just
credit
like,
where credit is due.
Yeah, we are like jumping on when it's like at its peak. We did not come to it early, but we are.
It's kind of like my journey with like being a Swiftie. Like I can't claim that I was like long term.
Yeah.
I became a Swiftie when everyone else did.
During the Eras tour.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, wait a second, I know so many of her songs and they're all so good. I came home, and then around January 10th, I started reading. And I was
knowing the dates of when you started and stopped reading these books is important because of the intensity in which you read them.
Yeah. Also, keep in mind these books are the shortest ones are like 400 pages. There is like a Christmas special that's like 200 pages.
Something.
But
I feel like it's like 300 almost.
Yeah. It's pretty small though. But yeah. Yeah. And then the longest one is literally like almost 1,000 pages. So, but the average is I would say between 600 and 800 pages. 600 and 900, honestly. So I started reading January 10th, and I read 14 books because I didn't read 2 of them.
Technically, she has 16 books in her 3 series.
Yeah.
There's 3 different series, a total of about 16 books within those series.
Yes.
And it's a universe. Keep in mind, it's the universe.
Yes. It's the SJM cinematic universe. I finished reading them the last week of February. And they became my entire life. I was like eating, breathing, and living for these books.
Like, so totally similar story. Brooklyn introduced them to me. I just had surgery about a week into my recovery time. Brooklyn brought these books over and I started them. And I just want to say that I have not been a very big reader just because I've been doing mom life for the last 10 years. And I've read 5 books over the last 10 years. Generous. And what I mean is like started and completed 5 books. And in the last 6 weeks I'm on my 15th book right now. That is how intense these books are. They're so good. Literally, I don't want to do anything else. To the point where have my children and husband suffered a little bit? Honestly, yes, they have. And that's fine. They're going to live. Mommy is having a moment for herself. And I am in a freaking chokehold and that I don't want out of. Like, keep choking me. Like, kill me. Kill me, kill me, kill me. Because they're that good. Yeah. So I think we need to mention, just if you're jumping in with us on this first episode, we are going to be talking about like all things Sarah J. Maas universe and beyond. We want you to join us, but if you have not read all of her books, just know that this is a massive spoiler alert. Yeah. We are going to be talking about so many, like we're just going to be talking about a lot of things and we don't want this spoiled for you. So if you've not read all these books,
and literally all of them, like you could be reading some of them, but we don't have what it takes to not want to talk about everything. Like, we are doing this because we are so obsessed with this series that we want to just talk about.
Yeah.
Okay, we apologize. Okay.
We're having some technical difficulties.
But Nick is putting Amy's kids, their kids together.
Our children that we share. We had them together.
He's putting them to bed. So until he can come down and help us figure out how to make this camera record more than 5 minutes at a time, there's going to be some weird cuts happening, some hard cuts in the middle of sentences, and I'm going to try to like get back to what I was saying when it was cut. But we were saying...
Spoilers.
Basically spoilers. We don't have what it takes.
Spoiler alert.
To try to talk about the books and not reference like where the characters are going to end up, because that's part of the fun of talking about it. Yeah, you have to.
That's the thing. Like, these books, and I don't think I'm spoiled when you say, like, this is a universe, so there are crossovers. That's maybe a spoiler. I don't know. Like, you were warned, okay? But listen, we want you to come, and so go read all those books and then come back, or stick around and have it spoiled, or you're like us and you've read all of them and you know what we're talking about. And so we just want, basically, here's the thing. When we read these books, Brooklyn, we got a feeling.
Yeah.
We got like this really, like, this high. Like, it's like I tried crack cocaine. Yeah. And now all I want is freaking
crack cocaine.
And so, but the thing is I'm about to be done. Brooklyn's read all the books. I'm like 1.5 away from being totally done. And we need to like keep this party going. Yeah. And so that's why we're doing this podcast for us. Yeah. And for those of you that also want to keep this party going and just ruminate and obsess. And
because the post SJM high is real.
Okay. Can I talk about really quick? Seriously, when I finished the first series.
Wait, do we need to bid adieu to the people who haven't read?
Listen, we're all adults here.
Wait. Bid adieu to the people who haven't read them.
If you haven't read this,
okay.
Like, we're all adults. We'd love for you to stay, but we also don't want things ruined for you. So
it's worth reading. It is so worth reading.
And then come back.
Please come back.
Okay.
It's gonna take you like honestly like a month to read all of them.
If you're committed.
Yeah.
Easily. Yeah. Okay. When I finished ACOTAR, so that's like a current, and it's an unfinished series, which is important, and we'll get there. We'll get there, guys. Currently, in the ACOTAR series, A Court of Thorns and Roses, there are how many books? 5?
5. There's 4 main books and then the Christmas special.
Christmas special. Okay. What is it actually called?
A Court of Starlight. No. Hold on.
Solstice Moon.
Oh my gosh. See, here's another thing. We don't actually know the names of these books. And I'm sorry if we're repeating ourselves because I keep forgetting what we said.
The editing on this is going to be really interesting.
A Court of
Starlight?
Frost
and Starlight. Yeah. Okay. So when I finished reading Court of Silver Flames, which is the 5th book in that series, the series is unfinished, and Sarah J. Maas is currently working on at least one more, potentially more.
And that should be the next book that she comes out with. That's what
that's the scuttlebutt
people on the streets are saying.
Yeah, that's the scuttlebutt.
Yeah.
All right. I seriously, when I finished those books, I fell into a depression. Nick and I went to church that morning, and when we go to church, what we do is we drop our children off in children's church, and then we sit in the coffee shop and just talk the whole time. Mm-hmm. We're sitting in there, and I'm like literally depressed. Like I'm like, I can't, like, I'm not gonna tell him because like I finished these books and I had to say goodbye to my friends of the night court. Mm-hmm. But then he was like, you know when you're just like really sad and you're like, I don't want to talk about anything, and I was just like really solemn and like sad and withdrawn, and he was like, do you want to tell me about your books? And I was like
that's all I want to talk about.
I was like, do you want to hear about my books? And he's like, yeah. He's like, I like nerdy stuff, and like you seem really sad.
Nerdy? What's nerdy about this? There's nothing nerdy happening.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So I was like, okay. So I like start, and then it's like, okay, explain ACOTAR to oh gosh. All right.
So explain ACOTAR.
Explain ACOTAR to somebody who knows nothing about it.
Right.
Like that's like, it's so overwhelming. It's like I'm not going to be able to give you the feeling at all, and that feels wrong. Yeah. But I'm going to try. Yeah. So I start explaining stuff to him, and he's like, and all of a sudden it just like hits me, and I'm not proud of this, but I was like,
did you cry?
I cried. I cried. I was like, I just missed my friends at the night court. Yeah. And I was like, I'm just, it's like, I'm not sorry that it happened. I'm just sorry it's over. Yeah, it's one of those.
Totally.
And he was like, I can tell you really care about this. I was like, I do. Yeah. So anyway, so then like you try to keep the high going. So then you do Crescent City, mm-hmm. which we have thoughts about Crescent City. Mm-hmm. And then currently on
Throne of
Glass, which is her first series.
Yep.
And so like that's how it made me feel. Mm-hmm. And like Brooklyn, like I was literally, I texted you. Mm-hmm. I think I had finished the second ACOTAR. What is it?
That's really the one that like gets you. The second ACOTAR book.
The second ACOTAR book.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, get out if you care.
Get out. Get out of here. But time to leave.
Resand.
Wait. Internal temp high, allow to cool.
Okay. What was I saying? Resand.
Yeah, resand.
Okay. I was in the grocery store and I texted you.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally, this is like ACOTAR brain, okay? I just finished book 2, or I was on book 2, I don't know, of ACOTAR. I'm in the grocery store, and the song, hold on to me, I'm a little unsteady, which is the word, like I've never loved that song, but I was like walking down the aisle, and like I had this montage like flashed in my head of like Farrah and Resand, and I was like, this is a music video that I want to see.
When you texted me that, I died. I like showed Josh, and I didn't know what song it was at first.
Yeah.
Because I just like didn't know the name of that song off the top of my head. Yeah. I know what song that is, but and he was like, "Oh my god, that song!"
I know.
And then I looked up and I was like,
But you get it, right?
Yeah,
like, the
yeah,
song
yeah, yeah. I feel
actually,
it.
I've never loved that song. But then I was like, this somehow, I'm feeling it. So, anyways, ACOTAR brain.
We have ACOTAR
obsessed.
brain. We have SJM brain right now.
How would you, okay, like 3 words. I know this is hard. I don't even know what I'm asking.
To describe
SJM universe.
Okay.
Or like how it made you feel like reading these books.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I feel like it just made me happy.
Yeah.
No, okay. It happy, horny.
That's true.
And no,
yeah.
I think I just okay. I felt like, you know, when you read, okay, I think the way I described it to you was I was like, originally I had just read the first couple books of ACOTAR, and so I was like in deep, but I wasn't like in deep yet.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know how much this would affect me.
Right.
And so I was like, what I said to you was, it's kind of feels like reading Twilight, but it's more for adults.
Yes.
And what I actually mean by that is, I actually kind of still stand by that.
Uh-huh.
But just because when I was 14, 15 years old, I would like reread Twilight all the time. Like, it was also before cell phones had like things on them other than texting. So like, instead of like staying up late looking at my phone, I would stay up late into the night, like rereading certain chapters of Twilight. And like, I had like Twilight brain. Yeah. I thought about it a lot. I had so many opinions. Like, I just got so sucked into that world. And that's how ACOTAR made me feel. And it's almost like how like a really amazing YA book series makes a generation of teenagers feel, is how these books make adult women feel.
Yeah.
And men, but like mostly women.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I don't even know how I mean, happy, horny, and one more.
Humbled. Because you know what? I thought I was better than this, but I'm not. This is actually who I am.
I'm not better than any of those. Happy, horny, humbled.
Yeah.
Yep. Those are 3 words to describe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if we haven't described well enough, like,
our like frothing at the mouth, like
chokehold
for this
experience,
yeah,
then I don't know.
There's nothing else we can say.
There's nothing else we can say. Should we cast these? And what books do we want to just like?
I think we should
do it all.
I think we should just go for like what we've come up with so far.
Okay.
And then like, okay, so wait, hold on.
And action.
I messed up my hair.
And action.
Okay, so
and wait, no, hold on.
Yeah.
Now it's like
oh no.
Oh no.
All right. The way you do fairy hair is you put a little bit of hair in the front.
It's literally like the 90s. Like, you need your 2 little wispy things.
Yeah.
And then you have your ears, and then you have your hair back here.
Yeah.
I don't know how long these wings are going to last on me, like how many episodes the wings last. The ears, I feel like, are solid.
Yeah.
Like, in my fae form,
Uh-huh.
do I have wings? I mean, maybe. But I always have ears.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the way this podcast is going to go is this episode, we are just like girling out. We are just like talking about all the things. But also, we're going to talk about the thing this episode that everyone thinks about when they are reading the books. And that is who we would cast in the roles. And then the next episode, we will start talking about the actual like plots of the books and the characters and what we think about them like more in depth. And we're gonna start with the next episode. We're gonna start with
Throne of Glass.
Throne of Glass.
Because I'm almost done, but I'm not totally done. So it's like fresh and
it's the first series she ever wrote. So we're gonna do Throne of Glass, ACOTAR, and Crescent City. And but this episode is just gonna be, we're just gonna talk about like who we envisioned, if we envisioned anyone, because there's some people that I'm like, I haven't really thought much about it,
or they morph in and out of different characters. I feel like
and also like these answers may change, you know.
100%. Nothing is set in stone here.
No.
I'm not. Are we talking about ACOTAR first, though? Is that what we want?
Yeah, let's talk about.
Do we want to talk about like whatever, like wherever our fancies may follow?
I think we should talk about ACOTAR.
Okay, so
first.
just
because that's the one that I've thought about the most, and the other ones I'm like, I don't even like. I have like one or two people that I want for the other ones, and I haven't really even thought about.
Okay.
The cast that much. Okay. But I have a note on my phone. Do you have a note on your phone?
Okay, here's the thing. So I know that my casting is pretty delulu.
Yeah.
Like I was really like one day, because like Rhysand is obviously, it has to be perfect. Mm-hmm. Like he honestly, I feel like it's the most important to get right. Mm-hmm. And like I've had a really hard time landing on it. Mm-hmm. And then the other day, like a couple weeks ago, it dawned on me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is Rhysand. Now here's the thing. This is delusional of me. Okay. Because realistically, like, do I think that he would be the perfect Rhysand? Yes. Mm-hmm. Do I think that he would pull it off so well? And I think he does look the part. Yes. Age-wise, he's like 41. And for a minute, I was like, that's fine. That's totally fine. He can be 41. I'm 41. Like, look at me. Mm-hmm. I could obviously be cast. Mm-hmm. But I was like, 40, even for guys, like, I know it's not a fair world. But, like, men, I feel like, can get away with whatever, being cast a little bit older. But honestly, like, if we're thinking realistically, which I don't really, like, that's hard. Mm-hmm. These movies are going to take a good solid 10 years. And you can't have, like, it's not going to work to have a 50-year-old Rhysand.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I feel like he has to, like, be, like, 30. Mm-hmm. Like, at kind of the oldest. Mm-hmm. Or he just, like, really ages incredibly well. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like 30 is sort of the cutoff for when it starts. Mm-hmm. And this guy is not. And so I think, like, my dream cast is too old. Mm-hmm. And also that's because, like, I'm also 41 and I don't want to watch teenagers in these roles. Mm-hmm. But I think I'm delusional.
So we'll do our initial casting, and then as we talk about the books more, we'll probably have other people. I do have secondary, like, backups. It could be, but let's just talk about the people in our dream life.
In our dreams.
If I was watching the TV show right now.
In our dreams.
And this was the person that could play throughout, and they could stay, like, a normal age, whatever. Because some of the people that I have, I feel like could work, but then there are some people that I'm like, they're gonna be too old.
And like, if we could rewind the clock like 10 years ago, I think my cast would be incredible. Mostly Tamlin and Rhysand is who I have. Okay, but it's just not, Amy. It's not gonna happen. Yeah. But I want it, like, in my dreams. Okay.
All right, okay, hold on.
Okay, well,
I think we should start off with Feyre, and then...
Okay, I don't have a Feyre, really.
Oh, okay.
Because what I've heard about Feyre, the Feyre that I have thought about that I was like, okay, I could see that. It's interesting. Doesn't work with my Rhysand and my...
Interesting. Yeah. Because it has to, like, they have to...
Like, for me, the hinge point is actually Rhysand. Like, Rhysand has to be... Because I kind of feel like there's a billion girls that could be Feyre.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Let's just talk about Rhysand then. Because I have specific people for everyone. Okay. But let's talk about Rhysand, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. So, my dream resand, I know I'm crazy, but
You're crazy, girl.
I'm crazy.
You're crazy.
But I stand by it. Have you ever heard of...
Okay, sorry, I don't know what I was going to say.
What?
I don't know. Have I ever heard of
Have you ever heard of the Netflix series The Last Kingdom?
Yes. I think so.
It's like a Viking show.
Oh, yeah. I haven't watched it, though.
Okay, the lead guy, Alexander Draymond.
Show me a picture. Okay.
Not only do I think he can look the part.
You think he can play the part?
Oh my God. He can play the part.
Okay.
He can do charming and flirty. He can do like evil and scary. He can do really, really sexy. He can be like super like violent and aggressive. Like he could totally.
He has the range.
Oh my gosh, he could like embody it so well.
Okay.
Like, and you kind of just have to like watch the show to know what I'm talking about.
No, I totally get it.
It's like he could carry the vibe, and I think he totally has the looks to do it.
Yeah.
Like he's beautiful.
He looks very chiseled.
He is German.
Beautiful.
He's German, but like he has his accent very much under control. Like he's like an international dude. I think he would. Like in my brain, he would be so perfect, except for he's too old and I'm delusional.
I don't think he's too old. And
really?
here's my reasoning.
Okay.
Because first of all, I look at him and I don't think 41. I think he could pass for 30 easily.
Okay.
In Hollywood world.
No, that's
because
okay.
People who play 16-year-olds are actually 26. So it's like in Hollywood world, he could totally be a 30-year-old. And also, because my resand, who I think you already know.
Yeah.
We've talked about these things outside of the podcast as well. My resand, and honestly, it was like my initial resand, and then I was like, oh, I have to change it because it's not realistic. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, no, actually, you know what? This is what I want.
No, I know.
And this is what my heart wants.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
And I'm going to tell you why I actually do think it's appropriate.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, in a world where the characters are aged up like at least 5 years, so like Feyre's 25 versus like 19 or however old she is in the beginning, my resand is Theo James.
Yes, beautiful, love him.
He is like otherworldly beautiful. He can play the like kind of bad boy with like a heart, like a inside he's actually like a gooey like
yes
and also like
a la what was that one show that we were all obsessed with? Sanditon. Yeah,
if you haven't seen Sanditon,
yes. Yeah, that's
that energy is like very Reese energy, I feel like, because in the beginning you're like, what a dick, and then
right
you're like, I'm in love with him.
So sweet. Yeah.
And also too, it's like
but then he's like can be funny and charming from like what's
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
He's got like a flirty side.
Yes.
It's like when he smiles, you're like
he could totally do it.
Goosebumps. Like you're like,
it.
oh my gosh. I think like he's my like celebrity crush that is the most technically beautiful, because I like a lot of ugly hot guys.
Yeah, but I will say it makes sense that he would be your technically beautiful man because he also has a unique look to him.
There is something unique about him. Like, he's not like Glenn Powell, the guy from that new Sydney Sweeney rom-com.
Oh yeah.
He's not like vanilla whatever.
Yeah.
There is something interesting about him, but he is like made in a lab beautiful.
Totally.
He's
like
the Angelina Jolie of men.
Everything's very symmetrical. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
No, I can totally see him. I would not be mad at that if he was Resand, not at all.
And I think he has what it takes. And also, here's what I think. I think with casting movies and shows, because I'm a casting director, totally. I think with portraying things visually, you have to get the essence of who the person is in what they look like.
That's something we've talked about. It's like in the books, everyone looks under 30. But in a movie, you can't have somebody's father looking like a 30-year-old.
The main character's father.
He needs to at least
like
be 45. Yeah. It's like you need to at least like show us, because it's such a visual medium. It's like we need to have a couple indicators. Like wrinkles. Yeah, a couple indicators that like, okay, this person's really ancient, and this one like, yeah.
So Theo James, I feel like,
and Rhysand is 500 years old. So
yeah, I feel like Theo James, you could believe that he was in his 30s.
Yeah,
and also
here's the thing though. Also, like. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Also, so the thing about Rhysand is that he is like so powerful. It can't be Timothée Chalamet, though I am in love with Timothée.
Do you mean Timothée?
Yeah, it can't be Timothée Chalamet. Even though I am in love with him, like it can't be him. That's not Rhysand. Rhysand has to make other men afraid. He has to like be, and Theo James gives that energy. He gives that energy, but also, like, think about Sanditon. The girl in that, she seems young. Like, she seems like she's, like, 20. But, and you believe their romance, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I feel like, I mean, it is, like, a 900-year-old man, like, falling in love with, like, a young 20-something-year-old woman. So.
You've charmed me. Have you seen that?
Wait. What is that?
You've charmed me.
Is that like Ricky Gervais or something? Yeah.
Like the meme is like when a 500-year-old fae meets a 20-year-old woman.
Yes.
You've charmed
me. Yeah, and that's why we love it
because it makes so much sense.
Yes. But yeah, so I feel like it visually portrays that, like, okay, this guy, there is an age gap here between him and, because the person I want to play Feyre is a bit younger, but like it's not so young that it's creepy, but it's young that there's a noticeable kind of difference.
I feel like a 10-year, if it feels about 10 years, I feel like that's fine.
That's kind of what the age difference. You could totally pass it off.
And the way stuff works in Hollywood, I mean, I hate how sexist this is, but the reality is it's fine for men to age a little bit, and we still find that sexy. Yeah. And like women, we can age up women very easily with like makeup and things like that. So yeah, it's just the world we live in. Okay. I see it. For me, if Alexander Draymond is Rhysand, in my dream world, his opposite, who is Tamlin, is Johnny Flynn.
I love Johnny Flynn, though.
I know, but think about it.
Yeah.
Think about, like...
I thought about him for, like... I'm like, I love him so much. Who would I want him to play?
But I feel like as Tamlin... Yeah. Because, yes... Tamlin becomes like the worst and we hate him, but also I'm like, why do we hate, like, I kind of feel like
he might have a redemption arc.
I feel like he definitely gets a redemption arc. I also feel like he's not as bad as like the book makes him out, like the way the narrative about him, because I'm like, his love was very much misplaced, but I don't think he's a bad guy. But the way that, like, that's one thing that Sarah J Maas says, like sometimes there are people that get like thrown into that role, like Kale, who it's like they're just so bad, and it's like, but are they? I think they're just like misplaced love.
Yeah, people really love to hate on like Tamlin.
But I feel like here's the thing about if Johnny Flynn was Tamlin and why I think it could work. He is so lovable. He's an incredible actor, but I think he could. I like Tamlin not as like the villain, but as someone you are rooting for, but you're mad at him. That's what, like, for me, that's what I like thinking of Tamlin as. Not that he's the villain, because I don't think he's the baddie of the story. It's like, this is a person who like had some bad judgment and also isn't maybe the most healthy. My ear just like got caught on my wing.
Fairy problems. Hashtags fairy problems.
Oh my gosh, it's so hard being a fairy.
I can totally see Johnny Flynn.
And here's the thing. Opposite Alexander Draymond, Autumn de Wilde as the director. I'm just like, I want to see that. I want to see that version. I think it would be so romantic. I think it would be so female gaze. I think it would be so beautiful. So beautiful. I think that it would be like,
it would have like great little moments of humor. Yeah.
And the thing is, in the first book, you love Tamlin.
Yeah. You have to cast someone that you love in the first.
That's part of the tension. And I feel like, not to like criticize Sarah J. Maas, because I mean, I am going to criticize her, but it's only because I absolutely love her and she's wonderful and like so great, and because I love her story so much.
Yeah.
But like, I do feel like some of the writing of Tamlin, there's something a little bit dishonest, at least with Feyre's perception of him. It doesn't feel completely right. Yeah. Like, I feel like
it's told from her perspective.
Yes. And
there definitely is more to him, I think, than.
Yeah. And I feel like he could be like, I feel like Johnny Flynn, I love him, which makes me think that's why he could be cast in a kind of conflicting role where you're like, I'm so mad. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? But also, I love you and I want you to do the right thing. And why did you do that? And you like feel and also it's like, why did she fall in love with Tamlin in the first place? He can't be like a total gross dud. Like, he has to be like appealing. And I feel like in the first book, if you don't know that Rhysand is coming, Tamlin is very appealing.
Yeah.
And so that triangle, that like holy trinity of Alexander Draymond, Johnny Flynn, and Autumn de Wilde, for me, I want to see that. Yeah. That's my dream. That's my personal dream.
So I think my Tamlin, I agree. You've pulled me into Johnny Flynn. I think
it could work.
I think
especially because I know Rhysand is older, but I feel like you need someone that's going to be like kind of, you don't want him to be like up against a teenager. Like, they need to be sort of like equalish.
Also, if he gets a redemption arc, then Johnny Flynn would be a great person.
Which he did get the part, like, at the end of the third book. He's like, be happy, Feyre. And then he, like, basically brings Rhysand back to life. Spoiler alert!
Okay, my Tamlin. You might not know his name right away, but you'll know who he is when I show him to you. His name is James Norton. And he plays Emma Watson's husband in Little Women.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah.
I love him, and I was thinking about him too, but not necessarily I was actually thinking about him for Lucian.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, so here's why I think he could be a good Tamlin.
Okay.
So for Tamlin, obviously you need someone that initially you're going to fall in love with. And this guy, I feel like he's, like, at least in Little Women, he's a very likable, lovable. Like, I feel like he's played characters before where you're, like, endeared to him. And then also he is very beautiful. Yes. Like, he has that Prince Charming thing about him,
yes.
which I feel like Tamlin has. That's kind of his thing.
Like Golden Boy.
He's
like
golden. Yes, he is. Like, he's Golden Boy who's, like, kind of sad kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And... yeah,
I can totally see that.
But also, I could see myself being annoyed by him as well if he makes bad decisions. Then I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you suck. I'm not. And also, if he's against like Theo James, like, I'll be like in love with him in the first episode, and then as soon as Theo James steps onto the scene, I'll be like, oh, who is this guy?
Yeah.
So it's like, even though this guy is technically very, very beautiful, at least in my eyes, when Theo James appears and he's got all his like bad boy swagger with a heart of gold, I'll be like, all right, you were good, but like, this is something else, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
And so, yeah, for me, he still seems like very powerful, like could be very intimidating, could kill a really powerful fae bad guy or whatever, but also like, he also gives like kind of like Golden Boy, good boy, like kind of like serious, you know, like there is something very serious about Tamlin that is like kind of like
a little bit of a downer sometimes.
He doesn't have a lot of humor at all. He doesn't have like any humor.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's like some steamy moments, but there's not really like humor. Like, he's not like, right. Yeah, so that's my Tamlin.
I can totally see that, and I love that.
Yeah.
Who are you thinking for Feyre?
Okay, Feyre. I thought about this a lot. And the way that I thought about Feyre, Nesta, and Elaine is like these people could potentially be related. Like, I'm like, they have to be roughly in the same-ish
Which
look.
we did agree that we think in the books, Feyre is she 19?
Is she the youngest?
Yeah.
Oh no,
she
we
is.
need to do more
No.
research.
No, she is. She is
Okay.
the youngest. I think she's 20. I think Elaine is 26 or 27, and then Nesta's 28. I think. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's because they're like a good ways older than her. But we decided for like a movie or like a series, she like everybody needs to be a little bit older.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong about the 27, 28 thing.
We're taking
No, I
creative
think they are
liberties.
though. I think they are like a good like I think if they're 27, 28, I think we can easily just make Feyre 25.
Yeah.
Like I, honestly at youngest 23 because we don't need a 20-year-old. No offense to 20-year-olds, we love you. But we don't need like a 20-year-old to be like.
Also, I kind of feel like it. Okay, Sarah J. Maas, I love you so much. So don't.
Why is everyone 20? Why is every single one of them are 20 years old?
Yeah.
Except Celaena is like 19. No, yeah, she's
18 when it starts.
18 when it starts, or is it 17?
Maybe she's 17 in Assassin's Blade, but she's
and she
18.
turns 18. Yeah.
Throne of Glass.
And then Bryce is what, like she turns 22 or 23. And then which that one's like okay, fine. But like Celaena does not need to be 20. What on earth? What reason does she need to be 20 years old?
Yeah.
That's
so
how I feel
okay.
about that.
So also
With
like
a 500-year-old fae male,
yeah,
like
they should be at least
it
50.
makes so much sense.
No. So okay. So Feyre gives like middle child to me also too. Just because she's like the most overlooked. Like Elaine, the way she's kind of described,
She
and the way
does feel like the
acts,
baby.
She feels like the baby. Nesta feels like she's got like
She's definitely oldest child.
she's definitely oldest child energy, and like it just doesn't make sense to me that Feyre would be the one to have to take care of her whole family if she were the youngest. And so my creative liberties that I'm taking is that Feyre is actually the middle child. Okay?
Okay.
So that's my big
And
change.
that's how Brooklyn wants to do it. So
That's how I'm gonna do it. So when I think about the three sisters, I tried to think about them as a unit, and I had to do a lot of switching around. And there still might be one that's kind of an oddball out, but whatever. This is what we're going with. My Feyre is Daisy Edgar Jones, who is the main girl in Normal People.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought about her too. I actually thought about her for Nesta.
Yeah, I thought about her for like
But-
every character.
Yeah.
But I landed on her for Feyre
I can see it.
because I think she can play like I think she has like I don't know, I just love her.
Yeah, I do too.
just
She's really good.
I just
she's
love
a really
her,
good actress.
And and that's our main girl. That's the main girl that we're going to be following through the whole thing up until Nesta and Elaine's stuff come through. And like out of all the girls,
and she could play with an older man. Like she
Yes.
could play with an older actor.
She played opposite Sebastian Stan in that one like cannibal movie or whatever. I never watched it.
I didn't see it,
but he's like he's like 40.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like, oh my God, this
No,
is
it works.
pedophile.
It makes sense.
It worked. And I could totally see her with Theo James. Like I wouldn't be like, ew, disgusting, get away from that child. I'd be like, I'm into it.
Yeah,
you know? And so that's my Feyre. Do you have
I don't have a favorite, but I'll take her.
Yeah.
I'll take her for Alexander Draymond. Yeah.
Daisy Edgar Jones, you're Feyre.
Sure. She's and the thing is, I feel like honestly, it's about the look and it's about the acting. Like those things have to be right. And I feel like
she can play someone that's like kind of pitiful.
Yeah.
But like you don't hate
I would
her.
believe her.
You're not annoyed with her.
And she has like the charisma. Like she can be like you like her.
Yeah. And then she comes into her own. Like in Normal People, like she has moments where she's so low. Like when she like moves to Sweden, she's with that guy that's like, I don't know.
I like barely remember. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And she, or like when she's like gets hit by her brother or whatever, she has like these really low moments where you feel really bad for her.
Yeah.
And then she has these moments where she's like totally coming into herself. Like when she goes off to college and she's like, got pretty when I went to uni or whatever that like sound is that went viral on TikTok. Classic me, got pretty. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I believe
you. It's a TikTok sound. Okay. But yeah, I feel like she's got, I can see it. I can see it. Yeah. And I would enjoy watching her.
Same. Yeah. Same.
Okay.
I don't have a Feyre. Honestly, like for me, I was like, I feel like there are so many girls that could do this. I did hear recently, and I thought this was interesting, but this actress would not work with my casting at this point. Of Rhysand and Tamlin. But I heard someone talk about, because they were, well, I think I might have sent you something on TikTok, but they had like, so here's the thing. The realistic casting, honest to God, is going to be 30-year-olds and under. That is, even though we can justify and make all the sense in the world, it's going to be 30 years and under, because it just will. I just like know it's just how they're going to do it. But like,
whatever. This is for us.
But I did see something about Sadie Sink as Feyre, which I do think that girl has it.
Can act. Yeah.
I think she could. And I was like, actually, Feyre can be kind of serious and like intense. And I was like, I could see it. But
yeah, so not for the guys that we have.
No, she doesn't work for
in an alternate.
If in the younger Gen Z casting,
yeah, I could see that.
I could see it. But
yeah. I like her.
I like her too.
I would be happy to watch her.
I feel like she belongs somewhere. I don't know where that is exactly, but I could see her being somewhere.
Okay, should we talk Lucian, since we're kind of starting with the like first characters?
Yeah. Let's talk about Lucian.
Okay.
Do you have someone?
I kind of came up with someone, but then I was like, I don't know. I don't feel very strongly about it. I was trying to look. Okay, me and Amy had this talk about natural redheads.
I was in a really dark place.
But no, you made actually a really great point. But there's just a lack of natural redhead representation, I think, in Hollywood.
It's true.
And so I was looking up natural redheads, and I mean, we have Domhnall Gleeson and we have the Rupert Grint, and like, who else do we have for men? And I was looking them up.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he gives the exact right energy, but I really like him, and his name is Jack Lowden. And I can't even think of what he's been in, but I've seen him in stuff before. Yeah. I feel like he's just been in a lot of like period drama type stuff.
I feel like
he was in Dunkirk.
Okay. With the redhead representation as a redhead, it's a real thing. Like, redheads aren't, because whatever, we're few and far between. But there's a good amount of redhead characters in these stories, and I was like, it'd be really nice for an actual redhead to be in one of these roles. But I'm not naive enough to think that every single one of these roles is going to get a real redhead. But so for a minute, I was like, wanting to be a real purist, like every redhead should be, but then I was like, no, there's one role in particular that I'm like, this one has to be a natural, and I will like die on that hill. So I'm willing to give it up for Lucian for it to be the right vibe.
Yeah,
because
sorry, I keep hitting the microphone, so if you keep hearing,
can you
like
also fill me up. I feel like Lucian, which these are our Celaena. I don't know if we've mentioned this, but these are our Celaena citrus spritzes, and they're really good. And the recipe's going to be
in the description.
So I feel like the vibe of Lucian is very important, because I think he does come into play, like quite a bit, and I think we're gonna get a book about him, like full, like centering on his story, his love story.
I mean, if he ends up with Elena, then like this next book might be about him.
Yeah. So, which that's going to be a whole fun thing to talk about. Is
Celaena?
Elaine. The Gwenreels.
Why did I say
Isn't it
Celaena?
Elaine?
It is Elaine.
Elaine.
Oh, Elena's in Throne of Glass.
The Glenreels and the... Oh, I don't know what the other ones are. Whatever. Anyways,
Elaine.
I feel like, okay, here's the thing about Lucien. As his story progresses, you realize this guy is not just like a dweeby side character.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has to have a type of swagger. It's definitely a very Lucien swagger, but he has to be sexy. Like, he can't just, because in my mind, the first couple books, he was just kind of like the dorky sidekick.
I really liked him in the first book.
Okay, I think I also had like the weirdest picture of him that I like can't get out of my
yeah,
head.
he did have like a Mad Eye Moody eyeball. It was like, I kind of just kept forgetting that was even a thing until they mentioned it again.
Yeah,
and then I was like, oh
needed
yeah.
to like I need to rearrange my like imagining of him, because I kept thinking of the dumbest pictures, and I'm like, I hate that I keep thinking of Lucien this way, but I think he needs to be really hot. He needs to be a flirt, but also like a loyal, good friend, and but also like sympathetic and kind of sad, and just like have a range. He needs to have a range. And I think ultimately I'm like, I want Lucien to be attractive, because he's getting really hardcore rejected right now. And I don't want it to be like some dorky guy that's also getting rejected by the pretty girl. Like, you want him to be like, hey, Elaine, you're so stupid. Why would you not like Lucien? Like, that's like what I want to feel. And so my Lucien is Callum Turner.
Oh, yeah. I can see that.
Is he the hottest man on earth? No. But
no,
he's
but he
the type,
has the...
It's the swagger. It's like, he has the personality. Like, he can be like can't you just picture him sitting next to Tamlin at the end of the table, and Feyre's there, and they're like having the exchange. Like, I'm like, he's flirty. He's got range. He's really tall. And I feel like he has like leading man energy, but also like, I just think
I could see it.
I think he could be a really, really good Lucien, and just give him some red hair.
Callum Turner is the guy from Masters of the Air.
Masters of the Air.
He also plays Newt
and look at
Scamander's brother in the Harry Potter, the like Fabulous Beasts, whatever those movies are.
Okay, but he is attractive. Like, in Masters of the Air too.
No, he's extremely attractive.
I
think he just has some quirks about him. Like, his ears stick out a little bit. Like,
but I feel like that works for Lucien.
No, totally. He's
ears. La, 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 la.
For the
I
listeners,
hate that I just made that sound.
Our ears are sticking out.
Our ears are sticking.
Also, for the listeners, we are wearing fairy wings and fairy
Please
ears.
go to YouTube right now, and also our Instagram, and
so
also
if you hear us
TikTok.
saying things like, "Oh, my ear just fell off," like that's why.
So, anyways, I feel like, and he's someone I want to watch, and Lucien's in it a lot.
Yeah,
like we see Lucien more than we see Tamlin.
Basically,
honestly.
all the Fae men that are like in it and have love interests, which he does have a love interest, even if she doesn't like him back.
But I think that's gonna change.
It could change. I don't know if I want it to change, but part of me wants it to change. Part of me doesn't. And we can talk about that more.
We can talk about that on another episode.
He is one of the mains, and I loved him in the first book, and he needs to be hot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, so
I also think that him with Johnny Flint, like, I just feel like that would work. Like,
yeah, I feel like maybe him and who the guy I picked for Tamlin might not work so much because they look so similar. But if the hair
I feel
was
like
different
he's
enough,
so much taller than him, probably.
Yeah,
because he's like tall. Like,
yeah,
what's his face? He's like 6 foot.
But I don't think the guy I picked is short. I think he's pretty tall.
Is he? Oh, I don't know.
I don't know how tall he is. Okay, so let's move on to. I think we should talk about the sisters.
Okay, let's talk about the sisters.
Because there's just such a big part of the rest of the story. I mean, Elaine not so much, but she will be. She's about to be soon. So, okay, so let's quickly touch on Elaine, because I feel like that one is like we're not gonna have much to say about her.
I don't really have anybody.
I have someone.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay, my person, I feel like I've seen her in TikToks and stuff, but I did think about her as well, like before I saw stuff about her. So I'm not copying anyone, okay, guys? No, but I was thinking about Daisy Edgar Jones. I was like, who could be related to her that I like that's like interesting? Christine Froseth, she's the main girl in that show. Oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of it. Buccaneers. That Buccaneers show.
She's really pretty.
She's so pretty. She's got like a little daintiness about her too.
She does. She looks like, I feel like she looks like Anna from Frozen.
Yeah. Of. Totally.
Yeah, she could totally play Elaine.
Yes.
100%.
And she has like a youthfulness about her. I feel like she could play someone who like
I think she'd look really good with Callum Turner.
Yeah, totally. I think like she could play someone who like she has moments of like aloofness, but you're like, oh, that's just her, you know?
Yeah.
You could be charmed. And then she's also Looking for Alaska, which is okay, so that was a John Green book, and it was like the first book he ever did, and I was obsessed with that book in middle school and high school. It was like my favorite book in middle school and high school.
Interesting.
But she plays Alaska in that show, and it's really good. She's really, really good in it. So I think she's got the chops to be a leading lady. I mean, she obviously is a leading lady in certain things. Yeah. So that's my Elaine.
Okay,
Nesta, I think we're going to have a lot to say about. So
I don't have anybody for her, but no, I literally don't. I don't know who girls are. I don't know any.
Yeah, I actually...
For me, everything hinges on the guys. I feel like the guys is the hardest. I feel like guys are the hardest ones to cast because I literally feel like there's so many girls out there. But yeah, just who is Nesta for you?
Okay, Nesta for me is, and this could change, but for now, who I keep coming back to in relation to the other actors as well, because, okay, I've seen Sophie Turner this is a side note, I've seen Sophie Turner for Nesta, and I can see it. I can definitely see it, but in relation to the other actors, because she needs to feel slightly older. And Sophie Turner, to me, doesn't necessarily feel slightly older than Daisy. What's her face? Daisy Edgar Jones. She could be, but part of me, I don't. It doesn't give the right vibe necessarily, and they don't look related enough to me.
Yeah.
The person I'm picking also doesn't necessarily look super related, but I'm like,
whatever.
Be,
hair color can be dyed.
I think her name is Olivia Cook. Yeah, Olivia Cook. She is the girl in House of the Dragon who plays the girl opposite the Targaryen girl. And
she looks a lot like Daisy. What's her face?
Yeah, I feel like they look similar. She plays a evil bitch in the House of the Dragon, but so we know she's capable of playing a bitch. But like, she also plays. She's in this movie called Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, and she's like so lovable in that. So I feel like she has the range of someone who can, like, she seems a bit older than Daisy Edgar Jones. She could be someone you hate, but she could also be someone you love. I think she's an amazing actress.
Yeah.
And I think when you love her, you love her a lot.
Yeah.
And so I
can see it.
Yeah, that's the Nesta that I have right now. And I feel happy with that little trio.
I think that's a great trio. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Cool.
Great.
Okay, let's move on to the rest of the Bat Boys.
Okay, I don't have anyone for them either.
Oh my gosh.
No, okay. I couldn't. I was like, this feels so hard.
Yeah. I was brainstorming the other day, so I have it. Okay. I actually feel like my Cassian's kind of really good because, and I feel like this is someone that could actually play him because he's not so big that like he wouldn't do it, and I think he's got the energy, and I don't think you know who he is.
Okay. His
name is Bob Morley, and he was on the show. He was one of the main characters of this show, The 100, which was a CW show. let me show you what he looks like. Bob Morley. I feel like okay, hold on. He's like, these are like old pictures.
Oh. Yeah, he's cute.
He's really attractive. And I feel like he also has the capacity to get really buff too.
Okay,
like he can get really buff, and he can also do the long hair. Like he can grow his hair out, and he also can give kind of like puppy dog energy, like golden retriever, not golden retriever, but you know how Cassian has, like, he has to have like a light energy.
Yeah, I can see it. I can definitely see it.
I was obsessed with him in that show, The 100. That was one of those shows that, like, I didn't know anyone that was watching that show except for me and my roommate at the time. And I was, like, just so obsessed with him. But, yeah, I could see it. He's Australian, and he did a pretty good American accent. Also, I just want to say everyone's going to be British in this show, except for maybe... like people that are from somewhere else. So like Amryn is like from a different world, so she can have like a random accent. But like in my brain, in my casting, everyone's talking with some version of a British accent.
Yeah. No, we need to elevate this. This needs to feel legit. Totally.
We're Americans, so British accents mean fairy tale world to us.
What? Suddenly we can take this seriously. Who's your Azriel?
Okay. I think this could change when the next book comes out because it's going to expand on Azriel a bit. Here's what I've come to. This is the best person I have for Azriel, and it has less to do with the description of what he actually looks like and more how I feel about Azriel and how I feel about this actor. And we've talked about this actor before. Yeah. But Azriel, to me, Azriel is like a hot emo boy. Like he has to have somewhat alternative energy, but he has to also be hot and buff, and like he has to be manly emo. Yeah. But there has to be something that can translate as that. And Harris Dickinson.
Wait, who's that?
He's the guy that I've been talking to you about that is in Murder at the End of the World.
Yes, okay.
And he's also in Iron Claw, and he's also in Triangle of Sadness, and boy knows how to play a tortured, like, kind of. He does. And in Murder at the End of the World, he can play like a little grungy, like, emo kid too, even though his hair is like kind of lighter, and like that's not how I like Azriel's really described. I'm like, just the acting alone, I feel like he would give the essence of Azriel to me. Especially playing across from Theo James and Bob Morley. Like, I feel like he gives something different. And there is something, like, with him, it has to feel like kind of like there's got to be like a darkness there.
Yeah. So, okay, I love him, but I have cast him already in Throne of Glass.
Okay.
So
yeah. No, I get it. So as long as he's in the universe,
to be somewhere. That's the thing. There's so many characters. Yeah. It's about like where do these people belong, which it does feel really hard. And it's like it does change. But okay, who I have been envisioning as Azriel is, and I don't really know how to say his name. I don't know if it's
Can I see?
Yeah, is it Yosha or Jasha? It's the guy from...
Oh, I think it's Yasha.
Yasha.
But I don't
Stradowski.
know. Yeah.
Yasha Stradowski from Wheel of Time as Azriel.
I mean, I would be happy with that because he is so beautiful.
He is so beautiful. Which Azriel, I think, like, totally has to be. We know that.
Yeah. I feel like he has to be the most pretty boy beautiful out of all three.
Yes.
Cassian's, like, the buff... muscly beautiful.
Yeah.
Reese is like the manly, tall, dark, and handsome beautiful. And then Azriel, I feel like has to be like technically his face is a model's face.
And I feel like he like could just the vibes feel right. Like I feel like he could do the like quiet, like sullen, reserved, like you don't mysterious. But then he's obviously gonna have his moment where he comes you know, where we get to see him more
And
probably
he is
in the next
unearthly
book.
beautiful.
Unearthly beautiful.
Yeah.
And like he looks like a warrior.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like I just feel like he could do it.
Yeah, I can
and he
see
has
that.
little brother vibes. Like I feel like, and Azrael has little brother vibes to me.
Yeah.
Even though like they're, I don't know if they're all the same age kind of, but
Yeah, I can see it.
But here's okay. This is a part, and I don't know if we need to like eventually end this.
We can do part 1 and part 2 if we need to. Yeah,
but this is my non-negotiable redhead role because I love her so much, and it's for Gwen.
Okay.
Who I am a Gwen reel. Like I fully am on board with Gwen and Azrael being together, and I think that's what's going to happen, and I think they're really right for each other for like a whole bunch of reasons, which we can get into later.
Yeah.
But I think that like they would look really good together. I think both of these people have incredible acting chops, and she is an actual natural redhead with freckles, and she's also in Wheel of Time, the queen. It's like, what's her name? I don't know how to say her name. Sarah Coveney.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah, I could see that.
I feel like she could totally do it, and I think they would look really good together.
So what's her name?
Sierra
Coveney. She's in Wheel of Time, and she plays
the queen, or like
the princess.
Yeah.
What's her name in? Is her name Gwen in the?
Is it?
Wait, hold on. What is her name in? Because we do have to think
Wheel of
about.
Time.
We do have to think about people listening to the podcast. Elaine. Her name is Elaine.
Okay, in Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
I just feel like I really like her as an actress. I think she's one of the best actresses actually on that show. Even though her part is small, every time she's on, I'm like, you understand timing. Like, I can tell you're a really good actress. She's not big yet. I feel like she would totally take that role. Like, that actually feels like one of my most realistic castings.
Man, that ear does not
want to stay on.
Yeah.
And I like her, and I feel like I just like her.
Yeah.
So that's my feeling about Gwen.
I'm down for that. I actually haven't thought about anyone for Emery or Gwen.
Do you know who I thought about for Emery? Who was in my head? I need to okay.
In my head, Emery is like mixed race or something.
Sure. Like I could totally see. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I don't know why. I don't know how she's described at all.
I think it's, Sarah J. Maas leaves a lot of stuff ambiguous sometimes. Yeah. It's like she describes she says like golden skin or whatever, and it's what does that even mean? Like that could be so many things.
Yeah.
The person that I actually had in my head was, is it Delaney? She's the TikTok star that's always like doing the ironic do you know who I'm talking
I know
about?
Exactly who you're talking
and I was
about.
like, actually, like I think she could do the role really well, and it would kind of be funny because I feel like she already like makes fun of that type of role. But I'm like, I kind of actually want to see her in that role because I think it could be good. And like, if you think about those three people, like Sierra, is her name Delaney?
Yeah, it is Delaney.
And then who did you cast as Nesta?
Olivia Cook.
Wait, who's Olivia Cook again?
The one from House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, I'm like, I feel like that trio, that could be kind of fun.
Yeah,
because I want to watch that.
Yeah, Olivia Cook needs to like have her walls like down. She needs to have some girlies. And they actually have some funny parts in the books. Like one of the first times I actually ever laughed out loud in the ACOTAR books was in Silver Flames with the three of them.
Yeah. What is it? I can't even remember now.
Were they having a sleepover?
It was after they had the sleepover, and they were like, "Do it for the
ponies or something."
The little horses.
Yeah.
And they were laughing so hard, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, my friends, I love you guys. I love you guys. We have an inside joke."
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so we're taking so long with this. I have no clue how long we've been talking, but that's fine. I'll edit it all together. Okay, Mor and Amren. I think let's do Mor, Amren, and Amarantha. Okay, Mor, I had Lucy Boynton. I don't really know. I don't know if that's how you say her name, but it's Boynton.
Boynton.
She is She was in the oh my gosh, the Queen movie, the Freddie Mercury movie.
Oh, I did never see that movie.
Oh, okay. Well, this is her, Lucy Boynton.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't have super strong feelings about more. I feel like I've seen some more hate, which I'm like, I don't.
Why? What's the more hate?
I think because I don't know. We can talk about that later. But I have seen some more hate, but I don't really feel it. I feel like kind of ambivalent about her, honestly.
I feel a little ambivalent too. But who I have had in my head from the very beginning for her is Jodie Comer.
Oh, yeah. I think I thought about her, too. I could see that.
I feel like she has the energy, and I really I like her as an actress. I do feel like Moore is kind of a little bit sometimes a boring character.
Yeah.
Maybe we're going to get more later. But I feel like Jodie Comer is so...
She can do that kind of, like, bubbly, whatever.
She's...
outgoing kind of thing.
Yeah. So I feel like she could do... I also feel like she could bring the fierceness and all of that, and like the vulnerability, and
okay, I could see that.
But she's
for
also
sure.
really, I don't know, she's like a bigger actress, and I don't know if she's gonna like take a tiny role.
I think
like
most
that,
of these people aren't gonna want to do this, but
unless Autumn DeWilde, they get some Margot Robbie's involved, then it's like, why wouldn't you want to be involved?
Yeah,
in this?
and if Moore gets a bigger story, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I heard a really, really interesting theory about. I can't talk about it now. We'll get to it.
Okay, so Amren.
Yes.
Okay, Amren. When I was reading Amren, I was like, is Amren Asian?
We had this conversation.
And then I was like looking up TikTok stuff, and a lot of other people think she's Asian too. So I was like, all right, in my head, Amren has to be Asian. And the person I've like switched people for Amren a bunch of times. But the person I think I've settled on for now, because I'm like, okay, Amren should feel like she's from somewhere else. I kind of want her to have an accent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Agreed.
The girl from Squid Games. Also, Amren is described as being very slight. Uh-huh. She's like short, slight. She's like a tiny little thing.
Yeah.
The girl from Squid Games, her name is Jung Ho Yoon. She won like awards for Squid Games and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see
that. I think she can do it.
Yeah,
she's a tiny little thing. She's really pretty. I think her accent would work for the role, and I think she's got the star power.
I like that. I like that casting.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we first talked about this, I did not read Amren as Asian. I read her. I remember the upturned eyes.
Yeah.
But so I was thinking of somebody else, but then you had mentioned that, and I was like, okay, like if it's like, I want to represent people. Like people need to be represented, and if there is if she was thinking of an Asian character, we need to have an Asian character.
Right.
So then like I sort of was thinking differently about it. I don't have like super strong feelings, and I actually love your casting.
Mm-hmm.
Who I had in my mind was Greta Lee.
I thought about her as well.
Which she's on the morning show, and honestly, I think I just don't like her character very much on the morning show. It's kind of like this like very like straight, hardly a personality type.
Mm-hmm.
It's very serious, and like
she was in Past Lives.
I haven't seen that.
I haven't even seen it either.
But Amren also is kind of like that too. Like doesn't show a lot of emotion. Is very like like deadpan. And so I was like, I could see that working. But yeah, that was who I was thinking of.
I thought about her as well. So I'm okay with either. I'm open to either.
Yeah.
All right, the last one, let's do Amarantha. For the last one for ACOTAR.
Oh.
Amarantha.
Right.
I have someone for Amarantha, and that person is Vanessa Kirby.
Wait, who is that again?
The sister, Queen Elizabeth's sister.
Yes. I can totally see that.
Because I just think she can play like an evil bitch that you kind of love to watch. I kind of love a villain that you actually enjoy watching.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And like you love to hate. But there's something appealing there. I don't ever actually want to just hate a villain, because then it's kind of boring to me to watch
There
it.
has to, something appealing that you're like, I want to watch you.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying.
Which I hate Amarantha. She is the worst.
She's the worst.
She is the fucking worst.
But I don't want to be like waiting for the scene to end because I hate the
You're
character
bored
so
with
much.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're
and
like,
I feel like Vanessa,
at least she's really beautiful and you want to look at her.
Yeah.
And like I feel like she would play it.
I feel like Vanessa Kirby
Would eat that role.
could scare me for sure.
Yeah.
I think I was actually thinking about her for Nesta for a second, and then I was like, she seems a bit
little
too
older.
old.
Which is a double standard. We recognize that because we did just cast 41-year-old men in
but
that
the men
role.
have to, they are old.
Yeah.
That's the thing,
Yeah.
is that you kind of have to like believe, like I believe that Theo James could be 900.
a 500-year-old fae.
Yes. But I don't, so anyways.
Yeah, love it. Okay. Thank you guys for joining us on our first episode.
We said we were going to cast like the whole thing, but
I hope you guys listen to this on like 2 times speed.
Yeah.
But thanks for joining us on this casting episode, our casting episode of ACOTAR. Next time we're going to be talking about Throne of Glass, and we're going to be getting actually into the books. So hope you guys will join us. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
And
things are only going to get better from here.
This
just
is
like
the pilot
SJM's
episode.
Books that she's written. You know, she started the books when she was 16, so the first books are like a little
clunky.
There's
some technical difficulties.
It gets amazing.
And
that's exactly what's going to happen with us. So thanks for
everything.
We love you guys.
Also, cheers.
Cheers. Drink a Celena's citrus spritz.
If you can say it, I dare you.
I dare you. Say it 5 times. Celena's citrus spritz. I can't even say it 1 time. Okay, anyway.